Sometimes messages are light and uplifting and expansive. Like that music was. Didn't you guys feel inspired? Yeah. Sometimes we clean the closet. Y'all say I'm ready? Ready. Okay. I want you to stay with me through the service and just kind of roll with me because there are points that need to be built up. We got to open the closet door, got to pull the first layer, second layer, third layer. Say, okay. So nobody thinking about lunch. Everybody present. When we have a spiritual and an emotional investment in something and it becomes our truth, and we begin to invest energy into that thing, it becomes a powerful part of us. We're investing energy into it. It's our truth. It's what we believe. And it is a part of us. And then, if we ever start to think, how could this fit into my world of matter better? We tend to go against what we are professing and go against what we are aligned with for a decision that we have made about ourselves in the outer world. Do you understand what I'm saying? We make a commitment to something wholeheartedly, and we believe it is true for us, and then we decide that we could probably do it a little bit differently, and then we are literally betraying our truth. That is betrayal. Got it? Easy, right? Has anybody ever experienced betrayal? Has anybody ever betrayed? Okay. So most of us experience it in the outer world in some way. Again, when we are 100% in agreement and we're supportive of an idea, person, and agenda, and then we decide to take the energy of that investment and make it serve me. How many of you have been in personal relationships with humans, like lovers? Like a lover, and you're 100% invested and it's perfect, and all of a sudden you think, after the first year, the world has an opinion of me and my significant person. How do I change this so that I look the way I want to look in the world? What have you just done? You've betrayed the energy that you invested in that lover in the first place. In that love that the two of you shared. Not the person per se, but the love that you shared. Bear with me? Can you see that it is part of your closet? Okay. If not, take notes, because it will be. If you're young, you'll go through this. Okay. Now, Spirit asked me to make you clear with this. When someone is not 100% invested in something, and they have a hidden agenda, and they come to you and they get involved with you, they are not going to betray you because they never fully invested in it. They are the saboteur, the one that intended intentionally to take the energy and make it serve them. We all have a saboteur within as well, too. We don't want to talk about the saboteur today. We want to talk about the betrayer. Got it? You see the difference. Okay. When we begin to turn away from that which we have invested spiritually, emotionally, and 100% in, it is because there's an aspect of our will and our personality that we call ego that begins to assess the outer and begins to tell us that things should look differently. They should look differently. So it literally is a rising of the ego that taints the investment that you had in something else. Got it? Okay. When we experience this ego, it's very subtle. It's very subtle. Very subtle. Got it? Very subtle. Do you want an example? I'll give you a human example, then we're going to go look at Judas, because he's a great example. I love this. A human example is this. We love this church. Y'all love the church? You love the church. A human example is this. Many, many, many years ago, we have a council that helps guide the church. Many, many, many years ago, someone loved the church, but thought we should tweak it a bit. And so she joined the council so she could tweak it a bit. unbeknownst to us. Unbeknownst to us. And she was trying to do it for the good of the church to make everybody love it better, right? And some of her ideas were great. When we did them, they were fabulous. But then when she started getting into the doctrine, and you need to say it this way instead of that way so you can draw more borderline Christians. It's like, no, we can't. And then her will rose. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm totally invested in you guys, totally love you guys, but then the will got attached to and began to rise. No, we need to do this. We need to do it this way. This is how the church will succeed. And it was like, let me ask God. No. The answer is no, we can't. We got to stay true to what we teach. And the energy made her move into that space where she betrayed the energy of the investment. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, that was a gentle one, wasn't that? Was that easy to understand? That was very gentle, because that had nothing to do with you. But now, we're going to talk about Judas. I love Judas, and I was very excited to share this with you guys. When Spirit gave it to me several months ago, I was excited, so let's just go with it. And I asked you to walk with me. We took one layer out of the closet. Let's go a little deeper. Okay. Everybody knows who Judas was, do you not? Do you also know that he was the one who betrayed Jesus? Okay. All right. Judas was an accountant. So Judas followed Jesus with an open heart. So we know that he gave 100% because he left his home, he left everything. He was 100% invested in this mission. And he was entrusted with the treasury. So Judas carried all the money. People would donate to the mission. Judas carried all the money. So he was pretty up there. He was pretty important. Judas starts to show his ego beginning to emerge well before the betrayal. At one point, there was a disaster in the land, and the men had been killed in a fishing incident, the men of a whole village. And, of course, women had no way to supply. And Jesus said, open the coffers, give everything we have to these people. And does anybody remember what Judas said to Peter? He said, Peter, let's not do that. Let's give some, and let's save enough for us, so we'll be taken care of. And Peter said to him, what is wrong with you? The master's asked us to do this. This isn't ours anymore. Give it. And Judas gave it. But do you see the thought in Judas' head? And Judas said, we don't even know these people. It's what he said. We don't know these people. So you can see that Judas is starting to calculate in the outer what would be best for their traveling band of merry men, and not trusting the voice of the mission, not trusting Spirit. The second example came right before the crucifixion. It was the week of, and you all know the story. Mary brought expensive oil and bathed Jesus' feet, remember, at a dinner. And and Judas said to Mary, you profligate, which means you rotten person. How dare you waste this money when we could have fed the poor? And Jesus said to Judas, Judas, stop. You have the poor with you always. She is preparing me for my death, which I've been telling you about, and you haven't paid any attention to. Again, who does Judas have faith in? The physical. He does not have faith in God. He does not have faith in Spirit. And he has walked with this man for 3 years, watching miracles, watching manifestations, watching all the things Jesus could do. But he himself does not have faith that it'll continue. Do you hear what I'm saying? He is committed to Jesus 100%, but he doesn't have faith. So he's not trusting God, and he has a better plan. His ego does not trust the message or the mission. His eyes go to matter, and he decides that he knows better. Do you know how often your eyes go to matter and you decide you know better? All right. Our brains don't know better than our spirits, but we act like our brains do. Our brains know better than our spirit. This is ego forcing self-will on others. And betrayal is going against what you profess to be in alignment with, and you're going against your truth. So, in the betrayal of Jesus, I wanted to read this to you because this is important, y'all, for you. This is about you. And Thursday night was the Passover. They arrested him very wee hours of Friday morning. This is the day before. The Sanhedrin wanted to kill him, but they needed to kill him at a certain time so the multitudes didn't find out that they were killing him, because he was a big threat. He was like not good for their faith. He was turning their faith on its ear. So they found the plan was to talk to the one of the 12 of his disciples who worshipped wealth. So they knew Judas worshipped wealth. So this energy that he was portraying was well known. So I want you to hear what happened. They sent someone to the place where Jesus' people were gathered. They sought out Judas. Judas was minding his own business. He didn't do this on purpose. He was minding his own business. This is what they said. Hey, if you would like to make a sum of money for yourself, listen up. Judas says, okay. He said, the high priest, this is what the guy says to Judas, the high priest and the other rulers in Jerusalem would like to talk with Jesus alone when they may hear his claims. And if he proves himself to be the Christ, they will stand in his defense. If you but lead us to the way to where your master is tomorrow night, that they may send a priest to talk with him alone, there is a sum of 30 pieces of silver the priest will give to you that time. And Judas had been minding his own business, but he had a draw because of his attachment to finances and his lack of trust in God. Judas said in his brain, his brilliant brain that knows all things, surely it may be well to give the Lord a chance to tell the priest about his claims when he is all alone. And if the priest would do him harm, he has the power to disappear and go his way as he's done so many times before. And 30 pieces is a good amount of money. Deal. I will go kiss him, and you will know who he is. I want you to hear the process of his brain. He was minding his own business. Yet, by right of vibration, by his attachment to the outer, the door opened to let what we would call somebody that tempted us, but to let someone in with a great idea. How many times have you walked that? A great idea. And your brain goes, that's a great idea. Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, great idea. Great idea. He was making the decision for Jesus. He was deciding what his master teacher should be doing. He was deciding what someone else's choices should be because he knew he could protect himself. So I'm cool. I'm cool in taking my master and putting him in a situation that I'm not even telling my master about. I'm cool with that because the payoff is good. It's matter, it's matter, it's matter, it's matter. It's talking, it's understanding, it's acceptance by humanity, and it's matter. It's everything is matter-based. Even being accepted by the priest is matter-based. It was all matter-based. Did he once go to his spirit? How often does someone approach you for something, and it sounds mentally great, but it may be slightly off of what you've already invested in? I've already invested in this. My heart's already here. Sounds great. Payoff is good. Do we have the stamina to say no? Do we have the stamina to say, let me check with God? Let me go when God tells me to go. Let me say yes when God tells me to say yes. Do we have that? And it's simple, simple, simple. Every salesman knows how to get you off your truth. Every salesman knows how to do it. This is what you believe? Not for a minute. You'll do what I ask you to in a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I will logically convince you that your truth doesn't count here. Do you understand? And when you make that choice and you follow that outer guidance, who are you betraying? Yourself. Who did Judas betray? Himself. Judas betrayed himself. He betrayed his thoughts. He betrayed his truth. He betrayed what he had been invested in. He betrayed himself. So, Ego justifies its control instead of trusting spirit. Ego justifies its control instead of trusting spirit. Oh my God, all the time. It's from the teeniest, littlest things. Teeniest, littlest things. I was going to listen to some music, some Solfeggio music, which I love, but there's always an ad in front of it. And the man on YouTube had such a great idea. It was a great idea. I'm listening to his idea. It's a great idea. A great idea. It's like, wow, yeah. Father, it sounds like it's fear-based. God goes, yeah, it is, baby girl. Should I? No. Don't. It's not me. It's not where I'm taking you. It's not who you are. You don't need to protect yourself. You don't need to shore up your sides. You're not exposed right now. If you need something like that, I will tell you, and I will show you where to go get it. Stop. You see? Fear takes us to the outer focus. Fear takes us out there. All right. Judas betrayed the teachings, his understandings, and his beliefs. When ego self grows stronger than your beliefs, you betray your beliefs. Do you guys know that? Some of you don't even know what you believe. But when your ego self is stronger, you'll never find it. Everyone betrays themselves when the outer is more important than the inner. We will follow spirit for a while, but when it gets to the rough in the outer world, when it gets rough in the outer world, or when it gets too good in the outer world, ego takes over. And our focus gets turned away when we, instead of following our truths and our commitments, we follow the outer world. The rising ego focuses on the material world and loses the sight of the spiritual mission, and everything has a spiritual mission. Now, next layer. Everybody ready? Can everybody relate to what I've said so far? Do you realize and can you own that you have, in fact, experienced what I'm talking about? Minor level, major level, or you've experienced it to you. I have a history. This is one of my issues, guys. I have a history of betrayal. I love someone so much. I love them. They love me. I think it's great. Everybody loves me. Oh, my God. And I give them my house. They can take anything they want. They can have my bank account. I love that. And I'm not talking about men. I'm talking friends. Friends. And Patrick will raise his eyebrow and go, Cindy, you should pay attention there. They're not loving you like you think they are right now. But they did. They will again. And they don't. And the betrayal comes, and I cry, and he goes, If it's an issue outside of me, where is it also an issue? Inside me. There's something in me. There's a door open that allows it. There's something in me. You understand? Okay. And that was just me. I know you guys are not that extreme. Closet doors open. Dr. Rocco Errico worked with George Lambsa, who went to the Vatican and got access to the Peshitta texts in the turn of the century not this last one, the one before, and translated the Bible based on the original Peshitta texts, how they were written in the Aramaic and in the Hebrew, thank you, Semitic languages. So anyway, he translated it, and so there are a lot of commentaries that Dr. Errico provides for all the books. I make all my students in seminary study them because they're fabulous. But I wanted to share this with you. This is the book of John, and this is talking about when Jesus was at the Last Supper and had his exchange with Judas. And this is the opinion. He couldn't translate it completely exactly as it was because that would have made it too crazy and nobody would have bought the thing. But here we say, it says that Jesus indicated the guilty party by dipping the bread in the dish. They would eat bread and they dip it in some sort of something and then share it with other people. And it's called the SOP, S-O-P. So, choice bits of food, please hear me, are handed to friends by one another as a sign of close intimacy. It is never, and this is the opinion of the scholar, it is never expected that any person would hand such a sop to one for whom he cherishes no friendship. This is the scholar, I can never contemplate this act in the Master's story without thinking of the love of the Christ which passes knowledge to one who carried in his mind and heart a plot against him. Jesus handed the sop of friendship, the morsel which is never offered to an enemy. And by doing this, he was saying, this is the scholar, Judas, my disciple, I have infinite pity for you. You have proven false and forsaken me, but I will not treat you as an enemy, for I have come not to destroy. Here is my friendship. Do what you need to do quickly. Can you feel that even in that moment, the love of the Christ went to Judas? The love of the Christ. He handed him the symbol of friendship and love. In Jesus' Teacher Healer, this is White Eagle speaking of the same incident. I wanted to share this. Jesus recognized in Judas one who had in the past been a victim of betrayal. Judas had been betrayed in the past. And Judas's instinct would be to repay that karmic debt with another betrayal. It was not unfamiliar to him. So he would betray again. He would betray someone else. Too often there is retaliation instead of forgiveness, so the debt is tossed backwards and forwards between the two. But Jesus, by his great love, drew Judas's debt to himself, so that he might forgive him, return love for hate, and break the sequence which might have gone on for ages. He was remitting Judas's karma. Those are two things I want us to really hear today. Jesus loved Judas, and Jesus remitted his karma. In remitting his karma, he's saying to him, you owe me nothing. Karma, what I do returns to me 1,000-fold. What I do returns to me. What I do returns to me. And if I judge it, I keep it going. He was saying to him, you owe me nothing. Go and learn about love and not betrayal. Because he gave him love instead of hate, resentment, walls. Go and learn about love, not betrayal. Can you hear those two things? I love you. Walk in love. I do not ask you to pay a debt. Your debt is gone. If we can truly begin to say, can I give that to myself? In those moments when I feel like I have left my truth, or I have stopped following what I know I should have followed, can I turn to myself and say, as Jesus did to Judas, my higher self, don't you know God still loves you? We can accept that, right? And does God make you do karma? No. No, it's a law of energy. God doesn't make you do it. You can easily rise above it. You can easily grow into love and not reproduce it. You can easily lift out of it. Law of grace. God offers this to us. Jesus offers this to each one of us. I love you. You don't have to pay a debt. Our higher self offers it to each one of us. The perfection of who we are, our higher self says, I love you, baby. I love you. You don't have to do this again. Please don't do that again. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please rise above. But can our conscious mind do it? Can we take the knowing that our higher self loves us, that God loves us, the Christ in us, Jesus Christ loves us, and love ourselves and say, okay, you are no less than you were a moment ago. I love you, and you owe nothing. No debt. How powerful is that, guys? Did you guys already know all that? I'm preaching to the choir. I love it. I think it's fabulous because you guys know me. I am the one who will beat myself to a whatever if I feel I've hurt, harmed anyone in any way. Oh my God, I'll be apologizing. Take my house. What do you need? And then for the next year, doing penance. Because I don't want to hurt or harm, and I don't like it when I hurt or harm. Do I afford myself this grace? I need to, don't I? Maybe that's why I wanted to do this service, so I can hear myself speak the words. My higher self loves me. I love me. I do not owe a debt. I simply live now in love and return to the truth that I am invested in. Return to the truth of who I am. Return to what I am living 100%. And not worry about the outer. If you like me or don't like me, I might get a frowny face, but I'm not going to change who I am. I might say, I wish you liked me, but I'm not going to change who I am. You hear? Okay. Our conscious mind will allow us that grace so that our outer focus of that, the fear that draws our outer focus away from what we're committed to, will abate. All right, ready for one more story and we'll call it a day. Life and Teachings of the Masters of Far East, Book 5. This is the one we've kind of been working on the last month, and this is a story. It's in the beginning. You know, Baird, this is many years later, Baird is doing research, and his crew have been researching a picture that Da Vinci drew or painted. And they were at the Vatican, and he said they met an elderly cardinal who said, how's it going with that research? And they told him, and he said, hey, you guys need to go to the Louvre. You need to go to Paris. There's a guy I can connect you with. Go there and ask to see Da Vinci's letters. And so they were on the plane the next day, and off they went, and they met the man, and they gave this crew, of course, this is a long time ago. This would not be done in our society today. But they gave the crew access to Da Vinci's letters. See, apparently he had painted a picture of Jesus. Maybe it was the Lord's Supper, the Last Supper, with Jesus in the middle. He saw the Christ in the face of the model he chose to sit for the portrait. He actually picked someone to portray Jesus' face. And he said the man was young, engaged to be married, and there was a beautiful light in his eyes. And Da Vinci interpreted it as the Christ and painted the portrait as such. And he painted it in the style of the day. 2 years later, Da Vinci decided to paint a picture of Judas, the betrayer. He searched for nearly 2 years, looking for one he felt was despicable enough to betray. Finally, one morning, he was walking through the Apache Quarter in Paris, and there in a little niche, all disheveled and in rags and down and out, was the man. He walked up to him. He said, I painted a portrait of the Christ, and now I'm looking for a man who will pose for me for the portrait of Judas, the betrayer. And the man looked up and said, Sir, I posed for the Christ for you. It was the same man. To me, it is one of the most beautiful examples of how we treat ourselves. We are filled with hope. Do you remember when you were young? Some of you are young. Filled with hope and life was in front of you and you're ready to go. And if something happens, you go, that's okay, I'll be better tomorrow. Okay, that's okay, I'll be better tomorrow. And the things happen, and the more things happen, the more things happen. You don't have your hope of life, and you're not excited about life anymore, and then you start judging yourself, and maybe you didn't do what you wanted to do, and then pretty soon, the betrayal becomes so deep that we end up in the hovel in our consciousness, not seeing how beautiful we are, not seeing the light in our own eyes. The light in our eyes begins to atrophy, and we do not see the wonder of our lives and the wonder of the world. Each one of us could have been that man. Each one of us, anytime we have given up on ourselves, have been that man. Fortunately, for most of us, there's someone that loves us that goes, wake up, come on, get up, let's go. God loves you, come on, let's go. Or something in the universe grabs us. But it's really time for us to understand, to hold the vibration of our Christed frequency in our hearts, our beautiful creativity, our light, and stop judging when we betray, which we will. Start loving in spite of what we do. And then the betrayal and the focus on the outer will begin to ebb. The more you trust and the more you remember, is this on my path? Is this part of my journey? Is this where my higher self wants me to go? Am I getting a yes from Spirit? Then don't go. No matter what that brilliant brain of yours does, then you don't go. That is holding the frequency of learning to love ourselves no matter what the choices, move through choices that take us from our truth, and get back on track with our truth. And it really doesn't matter what your truth is. I don't care what faith or beliefs anyone holds. We could inventory every single one of you as you exit. Everybody has varying different beliefs about everything. God, Jesus. Everyone has their own perspective, their own perception. It's what you are invested in. That's where you stay true to what love you have in your heart. Okay, how your closet's looking? Did you get everything out? Okay. Now let's fill it with some light, okay? Put your feet on the floor. We'll do a quick meditation. Father, Mother God, we ask that your infinite love just engulf each one that hears my words. And just begin to visualize a column of beautiful light around you. Whatever color comes is perfect for you. And feel the deep, deep hope in your heart. Take a moment just to sense the vibration around you, your thoughts, your choices, your beliefs. And then allow your focus just to go to that heart center and feel the vibration of what is true for me. And it could just be, it's true for me that I love. It's true for me that I care. It's true for me that I am pure. Whatever truth is true of you and in a belief that you may have about you. And I want you to take a breath into whatever truth comes up and let it vibrate out through all that you are. I will be true to this truth. And as you do, feel the love of God beginning to pour through you, all that you are, releasing, forgiving, honoring, healing. I am true. Father, I ask you fill everyone to overflowing. I ask that the words that were shared be organized in a way that they understand what you would have them understand. And I ask that your light engulf them. Feel the love of Jesus Christ pouring through you. Welcome to the journey of heaven on earth. Feel his light. Take a breath and let your focus gently come back to your physical body, back to the chair that holds you. And we love you, God. And take a breath, send your love into the room, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. How you doing? Good. Fun? Okay. Well, I have no homework for you. Just go be the light. Shine your light to the world. Let the light see who you are, what you are about, and know that they will see that light, and they will love you for it, even if they don't understand you. Say yay, God.